evening, young lady. How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
What's your name?
My name is Gloria Short.
And we've known each other for about how long now? A couple of years now?
Well, it's something like that.
Something like that. First time we met was at Lowe's.
Yeah, last year I believe.
Last year, and my gift brought me over to you and started chatting with you and laid hands on you. I go, oh my God, you're the real deal.
Yes, that's true.
And then you brought me to a friend of yours, Mary, who was in a coma.
Yes, she was in a coma. She was went to her son's wedding in Mexico. She had the 3 shots with the 2 shots for COVID by Johnson & Johnson and the booster. So she came back. She wound up going into a COVID-19 on a ventilator in the hospital, and she was incapacitated. So what do you call it? She was in a coma twice, and I spoke to her last week. And
so then when she was in the coma, you asked me to go lay hands on her and pray for her.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yep. Okay, now.
I asked you to come and lay hands on her, and so we were there for quite a while. And she was hooked up to all kinds of machinery. And then they moved her like a week later to a different room. And there they pulled off the ventilator. They pulled off all these other things that were attached to her, the contraptions and the IV drips and all that. Then I went to see her. She was able to talk, but she had to get therapy to talk. That was like a week later in another room. Okay, so I spoke to her last week, and she was getting therapy for everything. I have not ever seen her sound so clear and so positive like I did last week. And all she's going is for therapy to walk. But they're definitely a miracle there.
Now, fast forward to today with your first cousin, Patricia. You're like, oh, now I believe you. Like, I thought you believed me before with my gifts, but then after that, you're like, you really made me a believer. So we went up to what hospital in?
It was Middlesex Hospital.
Middlesex Hospital today to visit your cousin Patricia. And what would you like to explain about what took place there?
Okay. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer of her lower intestines. And the metastases are growing. And I asked Steve to come and do a blessing, because my cousin requested a spiritual healing or something. And she didn't want anything else but something spiritual. And so Steve and I went up today, and when she was in the nursing home in Moodus, I tried to give her drinks, and she would only take a couple of sips, and she says, she'd back away. She says, I don't want no more. I did it again another 5-10 minutes later. Same thing. I don't want it. I don't want to drink. I'm not thirsty. So, that being said, she was transferred over to Middlesex Hospital. And Middlesex Hospital notified me, tell me that they finally got a diagnosis that she's terminally ill and of stage 4 cancer. So, Steve and I went up today, and she was laying in bed, and Steve was laying hands on her, and I saw for myself, it was like a taser, a rapid taser of light from his eyes to her body. It was just like shooting stars going into her body. I mean, it was totally amazing. And so I was in awe, because I was like, wow, this is really some cool stuff. And she wasn't drinking, she wasn't eating. They got her up, put her in the jerry chair.
And she told the nurses that she doesn't have taste buds, so she's really not liking much.
No, she can't eat. She has no taste buds. She doesn't want to eat. She doesn't want to do anything. And so I brought her some soda. She requested, she said, I have a hanger for some cream soda, root beer, orange soda, something. So I went and stopped in before I got there and got some soda. So I got the soda, and the nurse put it in her cup. I believe it was a cream soda. And so she drank the whole thing. And she said, boy, this tastes good. And I was like, what? It's like, after, and then before we left, I said, would you like some more? So I poured another cupful. And so she was just like in her glory. She got her taste buds back, and she probably didn't even realize
I know.
that she got, things are starting to work. So this is a real deal, and it's real time, and healings do exist, and Steve does do God's work, and God is working through him. That's my testimony, and I'm so glad that I met him, because he does do God's work, and he does a good job.
God bless you, Gloria.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Have a
I love
wonderful
sharing the gifts.
God bless you.